This episode of the debate is sponsored by Above Industries and An Institute.
नमस्कार. आयच्या डिबेटात तुमकां सगळ्यांक येवकार आनी विशय तितलोच म्हत्वाचो आसा तो म्हळ्यार बॅलट वोटिंगाचो. आता जेन्ना इतलें क्लोज इलेक्शन आसता आनी प्रत्येक मतदारसंघा भितर जेन्ना 300 ते 500 मतां बॅलटाच्या माध्यमांतल्यान येवपाचें असतात तेन्ना असो एक दुबाव मारता की जर इतलो वेळ मेळ्ळो 35 दिसांचो जाल्यार दबाव हाडून मतदारांचेर किंवा मतदाराक अप्रोच जावन कांय जाण इलेक्शनाचे कांय मतदारसंघातले रिजल्टच मॅनिपुलेट करपाक शकतले काय कितें असो भंय म्हाका दिसता कितल्याशाच राजकीय पक्षांनी उक्तायला आणि इलेक्शन कमिशनाक तुगेले रिक्वेस्टय केल्या. पण सद्याक आमचे कडेन जी परिस्थिती आसा तातूंतल्यान एक गजाल क्लियर आहा, इलेक्शन कमिशन स्पष्टपणान सांगता की सद्याक कांयच चेंजीस जावचे ना म्हण. म्हजे बरोबर सद्याक 4 मानेस्त आसात. हांव तांची वळख करून दितां अँड देन वी विल सी वॉट इज द लेटेस्ट कंडिशन ऑफ द कॉन्ट्रोवर्सी अँड वी विल ओपन इट फॉर द डिबेट. पयले आसात म्हजे बरोबर ते काँग्रेसीचे फुडारी आणि जाणी ह्या विशयाचेर सतत पत्रकार परिशद घेतल्यात ते गिरीश बाब चोडणकर. स्वागत तुमचे. दुसरे आसात म्हजे बरोबर गोवा फॉरवर्डाचे फुडारी आणि खोलायेन अभ्यास करून आयल्या ह्या विशयाचो दिलीप बाब प्रभुदेसाय. स्वागत तुमचे. तिसरे आसात अल्टिमेटली कायदो महत्वाचो, प्रॅक्टिकली कितें जावं कायद्याचें पोझिशन कितें आसा तें आमकां समजावन सांगपा खातीर आसात गोंयच्या नामनेचे आदवोगाद कार्लोस बाब फेरेर. स्वागत तुमचे. आणि चौथे लास्ट बट नॉट द लिस्ट भाजपाचे आमदार आणि फुडारी निलेश बाब काब्राल. वेलकम टू द शो. मुखार वच्चे पयलीं आमी फटाफट कितें जाल्या कॉन्ट्रोवर्सी आतां मेरेन कितें जालां आणि इलेक्शन कमिशन ताचेर कितें म्हणटा हें पळोवया आणि देन वी विल गो अँड ओपन द डिबेट.
जो आज यूज केला मिसयूज केला पावरचो हो तांकां ना, कित्याक सीओक आनीक आरोक एज पर हो पावर ना कॅम्प करपाचो. आनी म्हाका दिसता जें तें कॅम्प केलां तें फ्री फेर एंड ट्रान्सपरंट म्हाका दिसना. जें आज पळयलें तुमी जे पोस्टल बॅलट हें तेमी स्क्रॅप करचे. रिटर्न ऑब्जेक्शन हांवें फायल केल्या दिलां आरो कडेन आनी हेजेर हें मागलां.
मात वेंचणूक ऑफिसरांच्या चुकीक लागून इलेक्शन ड्युटीर आशिल्ल्या 17-18 जाणांक हे फावट मतदान करूंक मेळचें ना. ट्रेनिंगा वेळार ह्या स्टाफान आपले अर्ज भरिल्ले, मात तांकां पोस्टल बॅलेट पेपर दिवंकच ना. तांणी आरओ आनी कलेक्टराक गाठलो, मात बॅलेट पेपर सील जाल्ल्यान तांकां मतदान करपाक मेळचें ना.
आम्ही 17,590 पोस्टल बॅलेट्स इश्यू केले. आज पर्यंत तातले 6,758 पोस्टल बॅलेट्स आमकां आयल्या सगळे कडल्यान न्हू, आनी बाकीचे येवपाचे आसा. फाल्यां एक स्पेशल कॅम्प दवरला आमी सगळे रिटर्निंग ऑफिसराचे ऑफिसांनी की ज्या ज्या मनशांनी पोस्टल बॅलेट अजून पर्यंत दिवना त्या मनशांनी थंय येवन ते पोस्टल बॅलेट्स आमकां दिवचे. थंय आयडेंटिफाय करपाक एक गॅजेटेड ऑफिसर आसलो प्रत्येक कडेन. काही कित्याक खूब कंप्लेनी येतात की पोस्टल बॅलेट्स आसा ते ताचो वेव्हार जाता आनी कितें जाता म्हणून. हो जावचो न्ही म्हणून आमची ही सगळी कार्यावळ फाल्यां जातली.
जे कोण सपोज पावले ना तेंच्यांनी
हरशी पोस्टल बॅलेट दिवपाक 11 तारीख सकाळी 8 पर्यंत वेळ आसा, कारण 11 तारखेक सकाळी 8 कावंटींग जातलें. ताजे पयलीं ते पोस्टल बॅलेट्स आमकां पावपाक जाय. ताजे उपरांत आयिल्लो पोस्टल बॅलेट ग्राह्य धरले वचचे ना.
आमी रिएक्शन आयकलीं आनी कॅन्डिडेटाचे एक रिप्रेझेंटेटिव्ह रिएक्शन आयकलें आणि इलेक्शन कमिशन. कालू आय विल स्टार्ट विथ यू. इलेक्शन कमिशन तर म्हणटा की आमी कॅम्प बीम करतात पण फायनल अल्टिमेटम इज स्टील 11th March 8 AM. What is the legal position on this? And because this is a close election, I think each and every political leader and party is anxious about it. How does law looking at this thing?
Postal ballots are provided by Conduct of Election Rules 1961, and Part 3 of that makes a specific provision of providing those people, especially like those who have been at the election, who have been part of the process, of the electoral process, and also on the voting day, because they were related and they were connected with election duties, they could not vote, these government servants or other persons, that they have got a right to have a postal ballot, provided they seek that they want to vote by postal ballot. Now you see, there are two things what are there. The law provided that postal ballot will be there, by which the ballot is sent by law to the person, and thereafter he has that option of making his vote and sending it by post. Now they have changed it by they have introduced another method by which you can have facilitation centers where you can come and record your vote. But the law provides that up to 1 hour of the counting of the election, that means on the day when the election the votes are to be counted, up to 1 hour before that you can come and present your vote at that time, which means your vote should have been received before that time. If it's received after that, then it has to be kept separately. Now the dangers of this is this: when an electoral has a vote, postal ballot vote, you see, unless he opens his mouth and he tells that I have got a postal ballot, and which many people know who are on duty, it is possible that somebody can always catch hold of them and say you have a postal ballot, because in a postal ballot he votes. There is nothing that he goes before an officer to vote. He can vote in his house, he can vote in a hotel, he can vote in a car, or he can vote under any influence. You understanding what I am trying to say is, it doesn't have to be in a sanitized place, because even if he goes at the facilitation center to present his vote, then he presents a sealed envelope which is already provided by Election Commission. Election Commission is not going to ask him, the officers are not going to ask him to open that envelope and tell us what you have done. He comes sealed. So in what circumstances he came with that sealed envelope is always a question.
Do you think this whole situation has become more precarious because of this 35 days gap between the polling and the counting?
A long period, a gap of a long period sometimes can be dangerous, can also be counterproductive in both ways. See, let me be honest with you. I'm not going to talk on political sides. If people are happy with the government, they will definitely vote for that government. If they are not happy, they will know in their mind what they have to do. So I don't have any fear about this kind of exercise of the vote. Finally, the people will get the government they deserve. And if they are corrupt, and they could be corrupted, then they will get a corrupt government. So I don't think personally per se that everybody would be corrupt and everybody would vote a government which they may not want, if at all. So therefore, that gap of time sometimes could help, sometimes could not. And that is why if you look at it, the code of conduct has not been lifted until the date of counting, because earlier it was, oh, the election is over, now it's only voting. No, but if you have kept this gap, therefore no schemes can be implemented, no new schemes can be announced. So you see, you have the electoral code of conduct in force until that date, because the voting will
you
go
are saying
until
the
that
sanctity
date.
remains.
Sanctity remains.
Okay.
But the question, as you asked, was it not dangerous? It can be both ways. It could be for, it could also be against.
Okay. It can go both ways. So दादाजी म्हणणं की कायद्याची पोझिशन जरी हे असल्या तरी इवन प्रॅक्टिकली दर इज सर्टन लेवल प्लेइंग फील्ड इवन इन दिस अरेंजमेंट. तुम्ही कित्याक इतले एंशियस जातात गिरीश बाब?
हांव दोतोराक खंयच डिस्प्यूट करना. इलेक्शन कमिशनाचे आयकलां थंय हांव डिस्प्यूट करना. आमचो डिस्प्युटींग पॉयंट जो आसा, बेजिकली प्रोविजन जे इलेक्शन्स कमिशनाचे जे गायडलायन्स आसा 7 मार्च 2014 इश्यू केल्ल्यो, त्या गायडलायन्साक क्लियर सांगता की फॅसिलिटेशन सेंटर हे प्रोवायड करपा जाय इलेक्शन कमिशनान. कारण जे सर्वीस वोटर्स आसतात, जे इलेक्शन ड्युटीचे आसा, तांकां वोटींग करपाक जाय. बेजिकली इलेक्शन कमिशनाचोय कन्सर्न आसा की हे वोटर्स वोटींग जायना, वोटींग खूब कमी आसा, आनी त्या खातीर रिपिटेड गायडलायन्स, रिपिटेड एफर्ट्स जे आसा इलेक्शन कमिशन ऑफ इंडिया की ही वोटींग कशी वाडोवची. सो हातूंकय आमचो डिस्प्यूट कांयच ना. गायडलायन्स क्लियर सांगता की तेणी फॅसिलिटेशन सेंटर करचें. फॅसिलिटेशन सेंटर खंय करचें? जंय ट्रेनिंग जाता. हे जे ऑफिसर येतात इलेक्शन ड्युटेक, जे तेंची ट्रेनिंग आसता, त्या ट्रेनिंगाक 2 वरां काडची आनी 2 वरां हांकां वोटींग दिवचें. आनी वोटींग केन्ना दिवचें? हे सगळे आमचे जे मेन वोटींग जाता तेजे पयलीं. ओके. सो हांगा हो फेल जाला. कारण हे फॅसिलिटेशन सेंटर प्रोवायड करून तेणी एक्चुअली कायदो कितें सांगता, सगळे पार्टींक सांगपाक जाय, कॅन्डिडेटांक सांगपाक जाय की हे फॅसिलिटेशन सेंटराक ह्या टायमार वोटींग जातलें आनी थंय कॅन्डिडेट जावं तेजो इलेक्शन एजंट थंय हजर आसता. एट द सेम टायम तेणी कॅम्पेनींग करपाचें. जशें तुमी हे ड्युटी कितें करतात, सगळे लोकांक कॅनवस करतात इलेक्शन, आनी ते स्वताक वोटींग जर तांकां मारपाक फॅसिलिटेशन मेळना, आनी तेजे नंतर तुमी तें दुकान उगडून दवरता कंप्लीट. आणि कायदो कितें सांगता, गायडलायन्स कितें सांगता, तूं 8 वरां मेरेन कावंटिंगाच्या 8 वरां मेरेन वोटिंगाचें सांगना ते बॅलेट पेपर जो आसा पावपाचे. सो बेजीक प्रॉब्लम जो आसा ऑल इंडिया, कित्याक गोंयांक ल्हान प्रॉब्लम, बाकी कडेन आसा वोटिंग एक कडेन करता ते पोस्टल पावता पोस्टाचे. सो बेसिकली तो पोस्टल बॅलेट जो आसा पोस्ट
तो पावपाक जाय.
तो पावपाक 8 मेरेन टायम. हे इलेक्शन कमिशन कितें केलां तांकां दिसता 8 मेरेन तेणी वोटिंग करीत रावचें. सो आमचो ऑब्जेक्शन
तुझे म्हणणे कितें आहे की गफलत जाल्या की पोस्टल बॅलट पावप आणि वोटिंग त्यात कितली काळ मेरेन करप हातूंत भितर गफलत जाल्या.
एक म्हणजे पयलीं फॅसिलिटेशन सेंटराची जे अवेरनेस करपाक जाय आशिल्लो केलो ना. एकूय कॅन्डिडेटाक म्हाका खबर ना बीजेपीच्या कॅन्डिडेटांक तेणी सांगलां आसतलें, कारण बीजेपीच्या कॅन्डिडेटां कडेन ते लिस्ट पावला, मार्क्ड रोलाचो लिस्ट आसा जंय तेजो खंयच्या वोटरांक बॅलेट पेपर इश्यू जाल्लो आसा तो मार्क्ड रोल.
दिस इज अ व्हेरी सिरियस एलिगेशन ऑन इलेक्शन कमिशन ऑल्सो. विल गो टू दॅट. तुमचे जर कॅन्डिडेटान सांगला की रिटर्न कंप्लेन, व्हॉट आर युअर एप्रिहेन्शन?
My apprehensions are basically that guidelines have not been followed as far as postal ballot is concerned. Second apprehension is there is a lot of manipulation as far as postal ballot is concerned.
ऑलरेडी जाता म्हणटा.
ऑलरेडी जाल्लें आसा. दोन्ही हाजेर हांव येता. गायडलायन्सच्या बाबतींत तशें गिरीश बाबान सांगलां की 7 मार्च 2014 जे पळय गायडलायन्स इश्यू केल्ल्यो which say that they are issued in supersession of all existing instructions on facilitation of postal balloting by persons of electoral duty. हातूंत ह्याच लेटरां अशें आसा की कॉपी ऑफ दिस लेटर शुड बी गिवन टू ऑल कंटेस्टिंग कॅन्डिडेट्स बाय द रिटर्निंग ऑफिसर आफ्टर लास्ट डेट ऑफ विड्रॉवल. हे दिली ना. हे म्हज्या कोतान मुद्दाम दिले ना कित्याक कॅन्डिडेटाक कळची न्ही म्हणून कितें एक्चुअली गायडलायन्स आहा ते. फॅसिलिटेशन सेंटर जे गिरीश बाबान म्हणलां ते क्लियर आसा. इट शुड बी हेल्ड ओनली एट द टायम ऑफ ट्रेनिंग पिरियड्स. ट्रेनिंग जे पळय सेशन्स आसतात तेन्नाच आसपा जाय, 2 hours ऑर मे बी मोर इफ रिक्वायर्ड अशें आसा. आता थंय फॅसिलिटी सेंटर केल्ले काय ना आमकां खबर ना कित्याक खंयचेच कॅन्डिडेटाक खंयचेच इलेक्शन एजंटा हाजे बद्दल कांयच नोटीस येवना. एक्चुअली दिवपाक
एक गजाल हांव
येवना
सांगता की हांगा इलेक्शन कमिशनच सांगता की अजून मेरेन 6,000 ते 8,000 वोटिंग जालां म्हणून.
ना ना
पूण फॅसिलिटेशन सेंटर
ना,
आशिल्ल्यान
ना,
voting
एक
कितली जालें?
मिनिट आय विल क्लॅरिफाय. बॉक्सां पोस्टल बॅलट घालपाक बॉक्सां रिटर्निंग ऑफिसराच्या ऑफिसांत दवरिल्ली फ्रॉम 21 January to 7th February. And there was no control over there. Whereas the handbook clearly says that wherever such boxes are kept, the proceedings should be continuously videographed. ECI observer should be present, and no unauthorized person will be allowed in the vicinity of the box.
हे जालें ना म्हणटा.
हे 21 January ते 7 February कांयच जावना. ताजे मागीर गायडलायन्स क्लियरली म्हणटात की फॅसिलिटेशन सेंटराक सुद्दां जर वोट घालपाक मेळना जाल्यार जे दीस पोलिंग बॉक्सीस डिस्पॅच जाता तेन्ना डिस्पॅच सेंटरांक बॉक्सीस दवरची म्हणून ती दवरूं नाशिल्ली. सो हे गफलत म्हळ्यार कशी, एक दर तुमी फॅसिलिटेट करपाक म्हणटा डिस्पॅच सेंटराक दवरनात. इन एडिशन this clearly says that if any voter did not cast vote at the facilitation center, which is part of the training session, or at the dispatch center, then he can vote only by post. So 8 February je camp zala they illegal totally, because after dispatch center a voter can cast his vote only by post. So इलिगलिटी इतली आसा की 8 फेब्रुवारीची कॅम्प इज टोटली इलिगल. जे आमच्या कॅन्डिडेटांक रिटर्न कंप्लेंट घालत तो म्हणटा तशें. आता मॅन्युप्युलेशनाची बाबतींत हांव येता. गिरीश बाबान जे सांगलां ती लिस्टां पोस्टल वोटराची लिस्टां सगळ्यांनी मागिल्ली, आरओ कडेन मागिल्ली. आरओ टोल्ड अस की आपणे हे इश्यू सीईओ कडेन रिफर केला आनी ताजे कडल्यान रिस्पॉन्स येतकीर आपूण इश्यू करता म्हणून. इफ ही सेज येस. आज पर्यंत रिस्पॉन्स कांय ना. बीजेपीचे कॅन्डिडेट जे आशिल्ले तांचे कडेन ही लिस्ट पावल्या. हाजे आमचे कडेन सामकी रिलायबल इन्फॉर्मेशन आहा. कित्याक सर्टन वोटरां फोन आयले की तुमचें नांव पोस्टल बॅलेटा आसा आनी तुमी कोणाक वोट घालतले तें आमकां कळटलें. हांव सांगता 2 कॉन्स्टिट्युएन्सी हांव जाणा, एक फातोर्डा आनी एक सांगे. हे दोनूय कॉन्स्टिट्युएन्सीक पोस्टल वोटराक फोन गेल्या की तुमचे वोट तुमी वोट कोणाक घालतले ते आपल्याक कळटले. घालिना जाल्यार तुमकां त्रास दितले आनी घालता जाल्यार तुमकां
अदर सिरियस थिंग. निलेश ना, दिस इज क्रुशल. ते म्हणटात की 2 गजाली जाल्यात. एक तुमचो ह्या बेजीक 35 दीस दिल्या ताजेर स्टँड कितें. दुसरें तांकां क्लियर हें आसा की तुमचे म्हऱ्याक लिस्ट पावल्यात म्हणून. सो यू आर युजींग ऑल युअर पॉवर अँड मायट टू मॅन्युपुलेट.
आमकां गरज ना.
आमकां मॅनिपुलेट करपाक गरज ना. आमचे विथ ऑर विदाउट पोस्टल बॅलेट आमी निवडून येतलेच. गव्हर्नमेंट आमचो जातलोच. तेणे पळय एलिगेशन करता पळय पोस्टल वोट हांगा थंय ते लिस्ट पावल्या पळय. म्हाका पावना, हांवूय कॅन्डिडेट. पार्टीज जर हांव रिप्रेझेंट करता, हांव कॅन्डिडेट, म्हाजे कडेन पावना. सो आय डोंट नो वेअर ही हॅज रिफर्ड टू. आनी पळय नॉर्मली न्ही कॉन्स्टिट्युन्सीन जेन्ना आमची गोंयची कॉन्स्टिट्युन्सी बारीक आनी जेन्ना एक बूथ असता आसून मॅक्झिमम 800, 1000, 1500, 1200 एक बूथ असता मॅक्झिमम. आनी ह्या बुथाचेर गव्हर्मेंट सर्वंट कोण आसा कितें आसा सगळ्यांक खबर आसा. आनी कोण इलेक्शन ड्युटी पडटा तेय सांगता, एकमेकांक सांगूच आसता.
लिस्ट दिवपाची गरज ना.
लिस्ट आमचे कार्यकर्ते आमचे जे आमचे कार्यकर्ते आसा इतले स्ट्रॉंग आसा की बुथान ताका सगळ्यांक पाठ आसता कोण कितें कितें जाता तो. सो आमकां लिस्टाची आमी जाल्यार ताका इलेक्शन कमिशन लिस्ट दिवपाक
मागीर इतलो टायम
गव्हर्मेंट सर्वंट
देन इतलो टायम जो दिला इलेक्शना खातीर वोटिंगा खातीर ताजेर तुमची पार्टीची
माझे म्हणणें आनी पार्टीचे म्हणणें हें आसता की हो टायम जो दिला तो चड दिला अशें म्हाका दिसता. पूण तेका कितें इट इज पार्ट ऑफ द प्रोसेस. आतां युपीन बी अशें आसतलें की जे दीस इलेक्शन डिक्लेअर जाता तेन्ना 11 तारखेकूय आसतलें. इट इज ऑल ओव्हर इंडिया, इट इज नॉट ओन्ली फॉर गोवा. आनी हेका लागून दिता. पूण आय फील म्हाजें पर्सनल मत आनी आय फील दॅट दे शूड हॅव अ पोल फॉर दीस पीपल ऑन वन डे बाय गिविंग 40 तुझे मशीन्स ऑन ईच ऑफ दीस कॉन्स्टिट्युएन्सीज.
तुम्ही म्हणटा की 40 कॉन्स्टिट्युएन्सीक 40 ईव्हीएम्स दिया
आनी ते
एक दिसा भितर काबार करतले
अशें. आनी लोडेड एज गव्हर्मेंट सर्वंट कोण पोस्टल बॅट ते लॉक करून दवरपाचें. आनी इट शूड बी काउंटेड इंस्टेड ऑफ फिजिकल काउंटिंग इट शूड बी काउंटेड विथ द बूथ्स विच आर बींग काउंटेड. अशें आसपाक जाय. आतां जाता आय डोंट नो इफ इट इज पॉसिबल. बट इन द फ्युचर इलेक्शन कमिशन शूड लुक इन टू द एस्पेक्ट दॅट यू शूड हॅव अ पर्टिक्युलर डे केप्ट फॉर दीस पीपल आफ्टर द इलेक्शन ऑर बिफोर द इलेक्शन टू कास्ट देअर वोट्स.
ओके. दोन इम्पॉर्टंट इश्यूज तांणी रेस केले. हाव आर यू लुकिंग एट इट लिगली? पयलो इश्यू की ऑन द डे ऑफ काउंटिंग टिल 1 hour बिफोर दॅट युअर पोस्टल बॅलट शुड रीच. It is not that you can vote till that moment, and because Goa's size is small, it becomes a little tricky issue. And second, the issue that Dilip raised is that whole facilitation camp that election commission conducted, that itself becomes illegal, and it should be null and void.
No, before that I would like to add one more thing. आणि पोस्टान जे रिसीव करपाचे आनी ते गायडलायन्स आसा की there should be one post office for each parliamentary assembly constituency which will deliver postal ballots every day to the respective returning officer. The time of delivery will be fixed at 3 p.m. every day at the office of the returning officer, except for the counting day when the time for delivery will be before 8 a.m. गिरीश बाब म्हणटाले ते खरें. हे फक्त हे अप टू 8 a.m. इज फक्त पोस्टांतल्यान बॅलेट पावोवपा खातीर. आणि all recognized political parties and contesting candidates will be informed in writing that they or their representatives may remain present at the time of delivery of the postal ballots by the post office. What is being done about this?
Okay. How are you looking at both these issues?
See, one thing is, first thing is the procedural aspect which the Election Commission may not be complying. Guidelines are generally in the nature of administrative instructions. They are not enforceable in law. But they have also suggested videography. So and the words are like this: the entire process of postal balloting will be videographed. I think this may be something impossible because entire process.
How can you do that?
It starts from the time when you issue the postal ballot to the time it is received by each voter till the time he posts it back or he comes to the
at his convenience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then it all is delivered at the post office and delivered. So I think these are things which maybe they are trying to improve the system, but everything may not be possible, feasible.
Not a practical
as
way
far
of
as the
doing it.
guidelines is concerned. But one thing which I want to say is a very serious issue which has been broached and raised here is about certain people getting phone calls about postal ballots, and that is also what has been going on in the air. It is really very serious if certain people have come to know about the serial numbers of certain voters' postal ballot, because it cancels the efficacy of a secrecy of voting. This is a constitutional right every citizen has, and it is also guaranteed by the statute.
No, it creates a scope for manipulation and pressurizing also.
Manipulation, pressurizing, buying a vote. You see, so many things can happen. I will also tell you something which I know, that there was a particular constituency in South Goa where strangely the observer of the election commission said that, none of the constituencies they mentioned, said that please inform all the political parties to whom the postal ballots have been issued. Also he wanted that the votes, postal ballots which are expected should be known. There's no such thing which can be done, because otherwise it wipes out that secrecy. And number two is that apparently there are allegations that certain staff, because you see what was the manner in which the election commission took care to ensure that there was a sealing of the registers and records where the counterfoils are there, because my information is that there was no such security which was provided nor steps taken. Probably they might have not foreseen it, but it's a very serious lapse if this has not been done, because the allegation which flows from that was that certain officials at the lower level who had keys of the cupboards apparently photocopied things and made it available to their known friends. Now I won't say who they are, whether this party or that party, but then
it can land into anybody's hand.
anybody's
Okay.
hands.
Now this is
दोतोर सांगते एक इम्पॉर्टंट की एक ऑब्झर्वरान सांगले की लिस्ट सगळे कॅन्डिडेट धाडचे म्हणून सगळे पार्टीक धाडचे म्हणून प्रॉब्ली दॅट ऑब्झर्वर वॉज आस्किंग फॉर अ लेवल प्लेइंग फील्ड
No, but Dr. I'm making a point that your demand itself is not legal.
he probably knew that the list is already with candidates of one party. So he was asking for a level playing field. Let us give the list to all parties.
त्यांचा आर्ग्युमेंट असा की तुमची जी डिमांड असा आमकाय लिस्ट दियात म्हणून दॅट डिमांड इज इलिगल.
No, that demand is there in the guidelines. It is there that certain form 17
इन्फॉर्म करपाचे
copy
लिस्ट दिवपाचे
of the above register may be given to the candidates who demand it after the date of poll in the constituency. This register carries the running serial number, part number of electoral roll, serial number of electoral roll, details of the document, whatever. This copy of the register is enough to give you the list of the voters.
But that copy of the register compromises the whole idea of secret
No, it is a
ballot.
level playing field. No, it is not ballot. It is not ballot.
I'll just interrupt. I, with great respect to my friend here, I don't think that you can read this sentence just by itself.
No, same
This
same
one,
thing.
the same one.
It's the same copy.
It reads like this. There's a format of a register which is provided over here, which says running serial number, part number of electoral roll, serial number of elector in the electoral roll, details of the document produced by the elector and proof of his identification, signature TI elector, remarks. Let me make this clear. You have to read the whole paragraph. The whole clause, in fact, is on the day when he comes to the facilitation center, and they keep this register. And this is after the poll is complete.
Yes, absolutely.
Poll is still not complete for this postal ballot.
That is what we are objecting to.
No, but you are asking for the register now.
Yes, the names of the postal ballot.
You can't.
Secondly, at the polling booth, if the elector comes, this same elector comes to the booth and tries to vote, only the presiding officer is aware that his name is cut.
No,
the polling agents are not aware.
I'm so sorry. You see, if you even just look at this form, it has one column for signature or thumb impression of the elector, which will happen only when he comes to a facilitation.
When he casts you.
Exactly.
Okay.
Girish,
No. It is for issue of postal ballots at the facilitation center.
No, that's okay.
It is for issue. It is
No,
not
but
for
look,
casting of vote.
no, please read the last line.
No. It is
Copy
for
of the above register.
After the election.
It is for
After the
issue.
poll.
It is
After
for
the
issue.
poll.
It
I
is
get it.
The copy can be given after the poll. Okay, Girish.
Yeah, I want to raise same thing. One is now what Dr. is saying.
It is not after casting the vote
That-
again. It is after
see,
issue of the postal ballot.
These guidelines, the issue after the completion of a poll. Which poll? It is the ballot.
No, at the facilitation center.
Exactly.
At the facilitation center.
That means what these special camps, so-called special camps, which started by this, is totally illegal.
Those are illegal. They cannot do that.
Totally illegal, because there are clear guidelines. Because this is not the first time that this issue has been raised, that voters have been influenced or intimidated. The guidelines, that is 4th December 2013 itself clearly shows. However, the list should not contain the serial number of the postal ballot.
Correct.
Oh, guidelines clear asa. This again is violated because these numbers have already gone. Number two, what I am saying, the commission has also received a suggestion about the possibility of undue influence or intimidation of person who cast vote by postal ballot. To address these issues, the commission has decided to facilitate casting of postal ballot by person on election duty during the training session to take care of such complaints. So this is already there in the mind of election commission what is happening.
But that is not been done.
1 minute.
It is not
the
being
voting through postal ballot in such training sessions is referred to as voting in facilitation center. So there is a clear purpose for this facilitation center, and this is not happening.
You are also
Goa.
saying that
And that is what we are
you are
objecting
also
for.
saying that the camp that was held after the general
Not
election.
just the camp, not just the camp, even the entire procedure from 21st January to 7th of February, when the boxes were provided in the returning officers' lobbies or offices, are also illegal.
Okay.
The debate will be back after a short break. The debate परतून एका बारीकशा विसवा उपरांत.
The best of the best. An institute, a name that hotel industry trusts.
An Institute of Hotel Management and Admission घेवन बरे शिकप करून हॉटेलाचो मॅनेजर जावन फुडाराक तुज्यान एक व्हडलो मनीस जावं येता. देखून ऍडमिशन घे फकत An Institute Porvorim.
Learn from the best. An Institute of Hotel Management and Catering Technology, a name that hotel industry trusts. Admissions open for degree and diploma courses. An Institute of Hotel Management and Catering Technology, Goa's first ISO 9001-2000 certified educational institute. Nova Sidari Commercial Complex, S1 Building, Alto Porvorim, Pardes, Goa. Contact 0832 241 1350 or 9326 11491.
After a great success in fabrication industries for last 30 years, Abab Industries now enters in dairy industries. Say cheers to health with Ameya milk and milk products. 100% fresh milk, no powder, no preservatives, unadulterated. Ameya milk and milk products coming soon in your nearest retail stores. Tone milk, standardized milk, dahi, ghee, lassi and paneer. For distribution call 9545835225. Email info@interfaith.com. Address plot number 11 Pisulle IDC, Pisulle, Sattari, Goa.
Now this is interesting. Before going to again for legal opinion, what is your thing? You feel that this entire process is illegal? This compromises everything that an election stands
that
for?
See that you can make apprehension, application, you can make various comments. See, there are some observations which are very aglow. So what happens is, the suggestions now with this, I don't know what the issues are. Issue is simple. That the date for so many days was too much for postal ballot. Postal ballot should be specifically dated, but up to this time, what they meant to say, 11 तारीख पासून येवपाचे 8 म्हणजे पोस्टातल्यान येवपाक जाय. पण आता म्हाका दिसता चडशे postal ballot they go and put it in the box which is there in the RO, which he mentioned that it was open from the 21st of January. So if you look at all this, I feel we have to find some solution to this problem. And that as facilitation center should have been provided before even the actual date of voting which was done on the 4th, whatever.
No, that is
before that they should have done a facilitation center and they should have given a separate EVM for.
You are saying the facilitation that was done after the polling
should have done
is
before.
not as per the law.
No, it is as per the law. See, these are guidelines. See, this is not law. These are guidelines given by the election commission. Guidelines are all flexible. If you go postal ballot, there are 6 pages in the guidelines. So if you read everything, you will have some flaw or this. See, basically it is postal ballot, but it is like he has pointed out that person wants a government who will perform. So it is him for to decide. आता पैसे दिवपाचे, हे दिवपाचे, ते लोकांनी पार्टीन बेशे लागून मतदारसंघात ज्यांना दिवपाक मेळता. Anywhere you can give. Why only postal? If you want to give money, you can give to direct voters also.
Okay. Legally, what is this? That they are clearly saying that entire process is compromising the election. It goes everything that an election stands for. That is their allegation. What happens legally tomorrow if they raise this issue with election commission first, or then they approach the High Court?
First thing,
one thing. If the guidelines are supposed to be not followed, then I think we should have daily polling booths at till 11.
Okay.
Why should we have? I mean, like the postal ballot voter. Why do we depend the other voters also?
What happens legally?
See, I'll tell you, guidelines, I repeat, are administrative instructions to have a uniformity so everybody follows it. Guidelines, I repeat, are not enforceable in law. And you cannot take anything in the guidelines to say that there has been a violation of this or that, because it's the statute and the statute alone or the constitution which will provide for requirement, disqualification or conditions on which you are not eligible. So the guidelines are, and these guidelines for facilitation centers are actually, if you look at it, paragraph 3 of that shows that there is an intention of the election commission. See, it says commission has received representation from time to time that many electors on election duty are not able to cast their postal ballots, and many a time postal ballots cast by such persons do not reach the returning officer in time for counting. And then they also say commission has also received representation about the possibility of undue influence or intimidation of persons who cast their vote by postal ballots. This actually meets their thing. To address the issues, the commission decided to facilitate casting of postal ballots by persons on election duty during the training sessions. To take care of such complaints, voting through postal ballot in such training sessions is referred to as voting in facilitation center. The commission also decided that facilitation should be done in a completely transparent manner so that all stakeholders are involved in the process at every stage.
That's what I
So now, if the election commission is trying to take a step forward in cleansing the system and ensuring that there is no undue influence, there is no corruption, I don't think that we should try to find fault with the election commission for having a facilitation center. Wait, I'm coming to it. I repeated earlier, even when a voter comes at the election at the facilitation center, he doesn't have to come with an open envelope. He could have done all that exercise at home and come.
Yeah.
So that guarantee which this facilitation center could try to seek to achieve, I don't think it may be possible if the voters already come with it. He may simply sit there, listen to the set of instructions
and then
just drop his envelope with a declaration. You understand? Now there is one more thing which was not mentioned, that there is one declaration in form 13 which has to be given, which certifies that this is the person who has come and who is
he is the same
declaration by the elector.
Yeah.
I am the elector to whom the postal ballot bearing serial number has been issued at the above election, and then he says the above has been signed in my presence, who is personally known. This is an attesting officer because he has to identify. I think sometimes this could also be very dangerous precedence, because if you go before an officer whom you think is an independent or an impartial person, then I think this could be dangerous trends. But coming back to this question, you see, if there is a violation of the act or the rule or the constitutional mandate, then naturally the election can be void. But subject to many other things. It's not that a person who gets minimum or even loses his deposits calls in question the election because this has been wrong. But yeah, so answering this part of it, that merely because facilitation center was provided, I don't think it
was
will
not provided.
Not provided at the right place.
So you are saying a violation of a guideline did not be violation of law?
No. In that case, this guideline of postal ballot being open till 8 a.m. is not part of any statute. It is in the guideline. So that could have been changed.
I'll tell you one more thing.
That could have been, not only that, model code of conduct itself is not a statute. It's also a guideline. So why do we go by that?
Look at it from a practical point of view. There have been also instructions that the nomination paper should not be rejected for anything. There's a handbook which is there for returning officers. Earlier in the handbook, there were many things which were do's and don'ts and all that. Supreme Court has said all those handbooks are not statutory law. And therefore, earlier demands which were being made under those handbooks were found not to be valid. Because it even said that giving false information, if false information was given in an affidavit, the candidate's nomination form was liable to be rejected earlier. Supreme Court said no, because it's not the handbook which will lay down what is the law, it is the statute. I will also tell you something of a practical experience. Many candidates this election, when they went to file their affidavits, at certain places there were blanks. And this is very strange, which happened. South Goa, the officers were very kind, and they even told, because they have a scrutiny, and they told that here your blanks are there, so the candidates were allowed to make the correction, which is nothing is wrong. because your nomination form is presented when you present it to the returning officer. So until that time it is pre-scrutiny stage, pre-presentation stage. In North Goa, the candidates were being made to run from pillar to post. This affidavit is not right, bring another affidavit. So you see, you can't have this kind of, these are only guidelines, but at the day of the scrutiny of nomination forms, I just watched, some people were told just maybe 10 minutes before the last day for filing
Get
of the
another
nomination,
affidavit.
get another, where would you run to get printed and notarized?
Yeah, okay.
But at the time of the scrutiny, they were all through.
No,
Girish, point is, what do you expect from election
See,
commission
now,
now?
we are honestly deviating the issue
what
from
do you
our
expect?
main. See, our main concern is one. The facilitation center is a key in this our entire discussion, because election commission also says again and again, because this is specially provided so that there is good voting as well as the voting will be fair. म्हणजे कोणाला त्याला इंटिमिडेट करून कोणा इन्फ्लुएन्स करून वोटिंग जावपाक जायना म्हणून ते फॅसिलिटेशन
आता हें जालें.
ना ना
Now what do you expect?
हो एक मुद्दो. दुसरो मुद्दो जो रोल आसा तो रोल फक्त एक पार्टीक दिवप, या बीजेपीचे पार्टी दिवप.
बीजेपीची
बीजेपीची पार्टी
अरे ऑन रेकॉर्ड हा रेकॉर्ड काँग्रेसीचे ते मनशाने घेतल्या रोल ते धमकी देऊन घेतल्या.
एक तो रोल
कसं रोल घेतलो?
त्या मनशाचा रोल त्यांना दिवप आणि बाकीच्या पार्टी दिवप ना, म्हणजे तो एक सारखं.
Now what do you expect from election commission?
तो सिरियल नंबरचा बॅलॉट पेपर असा, तो सिरियल नंबर ते सांगता फोन करून. सो आमचे जो ऑब्जेक्शन बेसिकली असा, देर इज नो फ्री अँड फेअर इलेक्शन, देर इज नो लेवल प्लेइंग ग्राउंड. Demand is clear. Scrap this entire this ballot paper voting. Fix one day in each constituency. Put a machine EVM and finish it off.
Okay. What is your demand to the election?
I'm not sure about this EVM demand, whether it will fall into the legal aspect. But one thing is very sure, that whatever has happened till now as far as postal balloting is concerned is totally unfair to every other party except one party, and it is illegal to add. It is not as per the guidelines. So
what do you expect now?
No, the election commission should now sit down and find out some way to enable all these voters to vote. What way the election commission?
What about the 6,000 voters who have already voted?
Even they should be allowed to vote again.
You are saying they should be allowed. You are asking for a re-voting of postal ballot.
A repoll.
Which is not a big.
Which is not a big thing.
Repoll of postal ballot.
Margaon one booth repoll was done. Similarly, you have a repoll for
repoll of postal ballot.
Exactly.
Okay. Nilesh, you will agree with this. फाल्यां जर ताणें डिमांड केलो, भारतीय जनता पार्टी will say की ओके आमकां
किती प्रॉब्लेम आला तुका सांगला नाही आम्ही आमचे सीट 21 झाले यांचे ते 200 मत आणि 300 मतांनी जाता तेजेर करता आमकां काय प्रॉब्लेम ना. whatever see the secrecy of whatever the election commission has been doing for so many years. Elections have been conducted, elections have been held, candidates have been declared, governments have been formed. आता they have come to a certain degree that they know that they are not part of the government in the future. So they have to find excuses to create some sort of a nonsense in public demand.
You agree with their argument?
I have no problem. See, we know that as BJP, we have no problem. I have no problem. BJP also don't have a problem. Let them have whatever they want. But what I am trying to say, is clearly is that we should have one thing very clearly. They should accept is the defeat and the BJP government is being formed.
Defeat and win is not going to be decided by BJP. It is already been decided by the people.
Because they are blaming BJP करते हैं. त्यांच्या घराने BJP निघता. रातभर त्यांना नींद पडना. BJP ची फ्लॅग दिसत असतात.
फायनल म्हाका सांगात हे जे डिमांड करतात हे लिगली जावपाक शकता काय ना.
Okay, now I will tell you something. It is with great regret I have to make one statement that Election Commission does not update its website from time to time with all the notifications and updated law. I will tell you one case which I had seen where a social activist had filed a writ petition in the had given a notice, had not filed a writ petition, given a notice about this declaration I am an Indian citizen in the form. In fact, the government of India by a legislation, by amendment of the rules, had amended the rules to provide for a new format of the form. And Election Commission still had on its website till this activist brought it to the notice of the Election Commission and quietly they switched and put up that amended notification. Now why I am saying this is because subject to that any amendment in the law which I still can't find, the election rules, the conduct of election rules speaks of a postal ballot. The conduct of election rules does not speak or such other manner in which the election commission may decide. So therefore, if the election law, which is the statutory law and the rules, provides for only postal ballot, even it shows how you must post it and how you should go about with it, I don't know whether these guidelines
this demand can be fulfilled.
No. Whether the guidelines,
whether these ballot boxes which were
whether
used
the
for
facilitation
were
centers
legal at all.
have been set up, have any sanctity in the eyes of law under the statute.
No, then my question is, if it did not have sanctity of law, and if they challenge it tomorrow, what happens to that voting?
If there has been no amendment to the statute, and the election result could be affected by those votes which have been cast, then the election is liable to be set aside.
The election is liable to be set aside. You're saying these lapses can create that big problem for us.
See, there are two issues. One is of not conducting the voting at the facilitation center. I'm on a basic issue, whether the facilitation centers have any sanctity under the statute or the rules. Because I can't find it, nor on the election website, except the instructions and guidelines which they have given from time to time. And also for Punjab, somewhere in 20th January, they had given a new notification because there was a question whether we should have ballot boxes of every constituency set up in different places. So these are guidelines which they have given. If they have a sanctity of law, then so they be upheld. If they don't have sanctity of law, the consequence of it would be.
This is very serious. Election can be set aside if असे जर दिसले 11 तारखेक की this kind of lapses have created a change in a verdict.
But it has to have that effect
Correct.
on the voting.
On the voting.
Yes.
So
postal आप डाल लें, for a round make any difference because we know we are 21 plus. It is for them to decide a 3 vote पे असं पड़े.
They are 21
plus असे तिथलेच. So what is happening? They are all worried. At least these 3 vote आमका पडले. त्याचे खंय तरी डिपॉझिट बी जप्त जावचे ना म्हणून त्यांका ते त्रास आहा. पण एक लक्षात दवर that all these years elections have been conducted. It is on a similar fashion. Elections, the postal vote is on a similar fashion have been taken. I don't know why they have woken up now. If they should have raised this query before the process itself, because each party had a representation. Each party was called by the election commission. All the way from Delhi he came, every representative of the party. Every party had a representation. Every party had a representation. They should have done this. लिस्ट में अपायचे ही पण एलिगेशन करता पळय फाल्या वचप ती आता बरं एक कॅन्डिडेट 5 वर्ष पयलीं सांगले की इलेक्शन मारले आणि वोट चेंज झाले हांगा वोट सगळे पडले आता इलेक्शन कमिशन बरे गेला ते आता किती पडता ते दिसता ते झालं काउंट हँड काउंटिंग करून
गिरीश प्रत्येक खेपेक असं जातालें की आज इलेक्शन जालें फाल्यांचो दीस एक मदीं वतालो परा काउंटिंग जातालें. Do you think this whole issue has happened? आणि इटली मेनू
पहिली खबर आशिल्ले ना रे ज्यांना डिक्लेअर केलं त्यांना खबर आशिल्ले 11 तारखेला ओके अरे आशिल्ले सगळे खबर आशिल्ले डिक्लेअर केला व्हॉट इज युअर पॉइंट इज त्यांना खबर आशिल्ले तागे म्हणले आता जागे झाल्या
बरं तागे म्हणणे तुम्ही लेट जागी झाल्या म्हणून
लेट झाला ते आम्ही जे आशिल्ले तो भ्रम गेला
ओके जे दिसा पोस्टल बॅलेट विल बी कंटिन्यूड फॉर 35 days बळे ते दिसच्यान हांव तरी ऑब्जेक्ट करता. I don't know about others, but how they object karta? And the returning officer, in collusion with the CEO, has been continuously dodging this issue, saying that we have referred it, we'll come back to you, referred it, we'll come back to you. Tatu ata tadi dakhele shewti guidelines asa ki it should be continued till the last day. From that day, we are concerned about this 35-day window.
Okay, Girish.
आमचो इश्यू कितें आसा आमकां खबर नाशिल्लें की इलेक्शन कमिशन आनी यांचे बीजेपीची सेटिंग इतलें आसा की हो मार्क रोल हांकां मेळटलो. फर्स्ट मार्क सिरियल नंबर मेळटा हांकां सिरियल नंबर हेंगे कॅन्डिडेटाचे बायलो त्यांचे भाव ते कॅन्डिडेट स्वता फोन मारतात.
अनदर क्वेश्चन माय क्वेश्चन इज समजा तांकां रोल मेळ नाशिल्लो तुमकांय मेळ नाशिल्लो आनी 35 दीस दवरिल्ले यू आर ओके विथ इट?
Question is here, the facilitation center closes all the issue. पोस्टल जे बॅलेट आसा थंय आमचे अजूनही ऑब्जेक्शन ना. ती 8 मेरेन पावची गायडलायन्स आसा ती 8 मेरेन पावता. हो स्पेशल कॅम्प करपाचो त्यांना रोल दिवपाचो
रोल दिवपाचो पळय
आणि परत
स्पेशल
ते
कॅम्प
So, हे सगळं objection आहे.
स्पेशल कॅम्प करपाची गरजच नाशिल्ली.
Okay, I agree.
I agree. स्पेशल कॅम्प म्हणलं कितें अरे इट इज ऑलरेडी डिक्लेअर्ड डेट टिल द 11th at 8 o'clock you can cast a vote. I called up. म्हाका दोग तीन जाणां फोन मारला अरे कितें चलना. I called up election commission. He said no. They can vote till the 8th. So अरे
You wanted to make a point, yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to say one thing. The contentions which have been raised, that this has been going on for so long. You participated, you objected. There is no, in law we have one phrase and a well-known thing. There is no estoppel against law, which means there can't be something by saying you did it and therefore it is condoned. Even if you went wrong side for many years, doesn't mean you have a right to continue to go so. So if it is invalid and then this has no statutory force, it will go whether you participated, whether it went on as a practice for years or not. And let me finally say that this argument which I have pointed out will be a double-edged sword. Anyone could use it.
Correct. Anyone could use it.
Yes,
No,
absolutely.
दिस इज नॉट ओनली इशू. इवन जे एनरोलमेंट जाना मिलिटरी सर्व्हिस पर्सनल ते सुद्धा प्रोसिजर फॉलो करत असताना म्हणजे ओनली दिस इज नॉट अ फर्स्ट लाइन
No, I don't think
not
we are getting
not
that,
just that.
because that we have not got the
Correct.
Not just that, in Fatorda, delimitation has been revised. Delimitation of the constituency which was
So
done
you are-
has been revised.
you
There are so
are
many
saying
instances.
election commission is compromised.
Yes, totally.
You are saying election commission is compromised.
त्यांचे म्हणणं कितें
That is what is the
त्यांचे
issue.
सेटिंग जावं नाका काँग्रेसीच्यान गोवा फॉरेन सेटिंग जावं
अरे ते unpopular आहे. tension घेऊ नका.
त्यांचे पयलीं सेटिंग करा म्हण सारखे
आम्ही BJP बाहेर करतात, आम्ही BJP बाहेर
फक्त
करतात.
एलिगेशन
बाहेर
करपाचे
करतात.
निलेश.
फक्त एलिगेशन करपाचे आणि कायच
तू
ना
आम्ही
एलिगेशन करीत करीत
tension
लास्ट
नका.
डेटा देखून
ते
आपल्याचे
tension नका.
कोहोर्ट आणि हे काँग्रेस
ते तुम्ही घेणार.
जावंकूच ना
निलेश एक गजाल सांगा तुम्ही म्हळे की जर फाल्यां 100-200-300 मतांनी खंयचे सीट पडले कोणाचे आणि दिसता की त्या हातूंत भितर पोस्टल बॅलेट समजा 300-400 आशिल्ले तुम्ही म्हळे की इवन इलेक्शन कॅन बी सेट असाइड ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दोज आस्पेक्ट्स म्हणून त्या कॉन्स्टिट्युएन्सीचे काय सगळे इलेक्शन
ना. A person is entitled to annul an order
हय
if the right person comes with a right petition in the right forum. So therefore, it would be not any candidate, not any elector who can file a petition. It would be only one of the contesting candidates who has lost who has to file a petition. Petition has to be filed also in this case before the High Court. It also has to be filed within the time limit, statutory time limit of 45 days within which you have to file it. If it is filed anywhere else, you can make as many representations. This authority or that authority, it has no effect.
But you are also saying if the number of postal ballots in a constituency is, for example, 400, and if the winning margin is 1,600 or 2,000,
Not necessary.
then there is no question of review.
Not necessary for one reason. Whether all postal ballots came via this facilitation center or whether they come by the postal route would be a question.
Even that needs to be looked.
That would also have to be looked in. But if they have come in, and let us assume that in one particular constituency all were by facilitation center, and that margin has increased because of this winning margin, then I think that it could be a ground for
Irrespective of the number of the margin.
No, it has to cross. The margin has to cross.
At 400 whatever.
Because of these postal ballots, the candidate has won and someone else has lost.
Okay.
If the candidate minus the postal ballots had won on his own, there's no question of
Then there is
calling
no question of review. तुमगे फाल्यां ही तयारी करता तुम्ही की फाल्यां जर इतली क्लोज इलेक्शन जाले आणि 200-300 मतांनी समजा कॅन्डिडेट जिंकलो हरलो आर यू प्रिपेरिंग टू गो टू द हाय कोर्ट?
No, we will look at it when it happens. Right now,
Correct.
Right now, I am totally in agreement with Nilesh Bab. की पोस्टल बॅलेटार इलेक्शनाचे रिझल्टाचेर कसलोच फरक पडपाचो ना. 21 प्लस 10 तारीख पर्यंत आसतले. 11 तारखे पिक्चर वेगळेच आसतले. That is a fact.
Okay.
So I have totally in agreement with Nilesh Bab.
You are only on the sanctity of the process.
Exactly. Because I feel that what is happening today might have happened in the postal ballot has also happened in other areas like I said, the delimitation thing, enrollment of voters and all that. So this I want this to use this to place before the public what is happening in the election of India. That it is a joke actually.
फाल्यां म्हाका ना गिरी सारखें फाल्यां जर अशें 200-300 मतांनी जर फरक येता is your party preparing ready to approach the high court and challenge the election in that constituency?
See, I mean definitely approach करतलेच कारण ज्या तरेन वन सायडेड गेम जावपाक लागल्याक आमकां बेजिकली ऑब्जेक्शन रिजल्ट कितें जातलो हें त्या हेजेर करता की तो म्हणटा आमी 21 जिखतात डिफरंट इशू रिजल्ट कितें जातलो डिफरंट इशू पूण तो इलेक्शन कमिशन म्हणजे पळयता आसतना लोकांचो विश्वास इलेक्शन कमिशनाचेर आसा तो विश्वास वचपाक जायना हो आमचो एक रेज. नंबर 2 हो इशू जे आमी रेज करतात हो फक्त गोंयचे हेजे खातीरूच न्ही की हो इलेक्शन कमिशनान तुजो डिबेट पळोवचो ऑल इंडिया सेंट्रल जे दिल्ली बसता कारण हो एक नॅशनल डिबेट जावपाक शकता कारण हो जेन्ना हो डिस्कशन आतांच हें जाता ते मुखारी हेजे मुखारी इलेक्शन आसतली तेकाय जातलें कारण सिरियस इशू तुगेलो जो डिबेट आसा म्हणजे तुवें डिबेट जो इलेक्शन कमिशन ऑफ इंडियाक तुवें धाडून
I will add 2 more points. Like I said, it is not just the postal ballot thing. It is also that one candidate came with the B forms of 2 parties, which should be a national issue actually. This could happen. Finally, one candidate would come with the B forms of 7 parties. Is the election commission doing anything about it? Second is the military thing, the army personnel.
You are saying basically on contentious issues, election commission is shying away from taking a firm stand. Okay, before going to final comment, Nilesh, एक गजाल फाल्यां तुमची बाबतीत जालें तूं म्हणटा जायना पण समजा जालें विल यू अप्रोच द हायकोर्ट विल युअर पार्टी अप्रोच द हायकोर्ट यू आर प्रिपेर्ड
म्हाका दिसता म्हाका गरज ना सी
ते एक गजाल जालें
वी हॅव टू ट्रस्ट
समजा जालें
इलेक्शन कमिशन वी विल रायट टू देम दॅट दिस थिंग शुड नॉट हॅपन पोस्टल बॅलेट वी विल गिव्ह लायक आतां गिरीशान सांगले भशेन that every constituency should have a EVM for casting and a particular date for that postal ballot, so that this type of problems don't happen in future. So these maybe we will write to the election commission that this type of contentious issues should not be there. This I agree with him, but फाल्यां जर कोण पडलो येयलो see that is for the party to decide in a whole. That I cannot give a comment right now, but we will look at it. But I don't think we will require at that stage.
Okay, तुझं म्हाका फायनल गजाल सांगात ह्या सगळे डिबेटांतल्यान गायडलायन्साचे उलयले आमी कायदो कितें म्हणटा स्टॅट्यूट्स कितें म्हणटा म्हणलें somewhere election commission's image has taken a hit. Do you feel so that election commission should have been more cautious while following their own guidelines, laws and statutes? You feel so?
If you remember, there was a very famous statement of one chief election commissioner who went very boldly and said, I eat politicians for breakfast. You see, it looks to be the election commission seems to be rearing its head again, because it is only one line in the constitution which gives it general power and superintendence, and under that generally the courts lean in favor that for the purity of elections the election commission is trying to do something. But if the election commission does not do something in accordance with the constitution and the statutes, then I think that would be a serious matter. And I agree with you that with all this what has happened, it has cast a very unsavory flavor on the role and functioning of election commission, whatever glamour may have been put. But I think these are not matters which should have been brought to public. It should not have been debated anywhere, and it should not have been coming to instill fear and diffidence in the voters what will happen tomorrow.
हांव इतल्याचेर थांबता. म्हाका दिसता खूब बरी डिबेट जाल्या खोलायेन जाल्या. म्हाका लोकांच्या तकल्यांत खूब प्रश्न आशिल्ले जाल्यार प्रत्येक प्रश्नाचें उत्तर आज हांगा प्रत्येक पक्षान आनी आमची लिगल एक्सपर्ट्सांनी दिला. सगळ्यांत म्हत्वाची गोष्ट एकच, सगळ्यांची इलेक्शन कमिशना कडेन एकच मागणी आसा, अल्टिमेटली इलेक्शन इज सुप्रीम, इट इज पिपल्स मॅन्डेट. फाल्यां कोणाकय असो कसलोच मार्ग मेळपाक जायना जो मार्ग वापरून somebody can manipulate that mandate, somebody can pressurize somebody has serial numbers, कोणी कोणाक मत घाला ते कळटा थ्रू वॉट एवर मिन्स. जेन्ना आमी टॅक्नॉलॉजीची गजाली उलयतात तेन्ना जर आमी बेजीक सिक्रेसी आनी बेजीक सेक्युरिटी जर एका वोटराक आनी एका नागरिकाक सिटीजनाक दिवपाक शकले ना, म्हाका दिसता ताज्या की व्हडली शोकांतिका आमच्या ह्या जगांतल्या सगळ्यांत व्हडल्या लोकशायेची आसची ना. सगळ्यांचो कन्सर्न हांगा तो आसा. नोबडी इज ट्रायंग टू टेक इलेक्शन कमिशन हेड ऑन ऑर एंटागोनायज देम. एवरीबडी इज वरीड अबाउट द सँक्टिटी ऑफ द प्रोसेस. तो उरचो 11 तारखे उपरांत कितें जाता, कोणाक कोर्टाक वचची पडटा किंवा वचपाची गरज पडना हो वेगळो भाग. ती सँक्टिटी दीस उरल्यात, करेक्टिव्ह मेजर्स घेवपाक जाल्यार घेवच्यो, त्यो कायद्या भितर कशी बसतात, कशी बसपाक शकतात हें पळोवचें आनी ती सँक्टिटी दवरची आनी परत हाडची. इतलेंच म्हाका दिसता. तुमचें सगळ्यांचें मत आसा आनी आमचें आसा. आयले इतली खोलायेन चर्चा केली आनी बरे तरेन मतां मांडली. थँक्स अ लॉट. पळयत रावात प्रुडंट. नमस्कार.
The best of the best. An institute, a name that hotel industry trusts.
An Institute of Hotel Management and Admission घेवन बरे शिकप करून हॉटेलाचो मॅनेजर जावन फुडाराक तुज्यान एक व्हडलो मनीस जावं येता. देखून ऍडमिशन घे फकत An Institute Porvorim.
Learn from the best. An Institute of Hotel Management and Catering Technology, a name that hotel industry trusts. Admissions open for degree and diploma courses. An Institute of Hotel Management and Catering Technology, Goa's first ISO 9001-2000 certified educational institute. Nova Sidari Commercial Complex, S1 Building, Alto Porvorim, Pardes, Goa. Contact 0832 241 1350 or 9326 11491.
After a great success in fabrication industries for last 30 years, Abab Industries now enters in dairy industries. Say cheers to health with Ameya milk and milk products. 100% fresh milk, no powder, no preservatives, unadulterated. Ameya milk and milk products coming soon in your nearest retail stores. Tone milk, standardized milk, dahi, ghee, lassi and paneer. For distribution call 9545835225. Email info@interfaith.com. Address plot number 11 Tisulle IDC, Tisulle, Sattari, Goa.